What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of The Long Dark. In the previous episode, I don't remember what we did. It's a new recording session. It's been like 4 or 5 days since I last played, and so it's time for us to get back to searching for the bunker. Now, we have enough food. If you want to take a look at our stocks, we've got enough food and water to basically last a couple days. I don't want to go hunt early because the big problem, we've got 7 pieces of food that should more or less last us about 3 days, even if I keep it on my body, on my person, rubbing the meat against my tummy, my fleshy bits, and just distributing fur all over it. I'm pretty sure it'll still be okay in a couple of days. Like, it's not going to go bad. And so I would prefer not to go for a hunt right now because I think that'll pretty much give us too much meat to consume before the next rotation goes down of decay. And so what we need to do right now is we've got a little bit of extra time today. I'd like to take a look at my wood stocks. Before I do these little recording sessions, I always like to take stock of what I have and what I don't have. Okay, so we've got fir, firewood, we've got cedar, we've got reclaimed. It looks like we have enough wood to get by for now, but I would like to stockpile a little bit better. I looked up a map of where the bunker can possibly spawn, but from what I can tell, it can spawn anywhere up to like 8 or 9 locations. Some people have said they've seen it spawn at 5 locations. Other people, I don't know if they're exaggerating or not, have said that they've seen it spawn at 9 or 10 locations. Now, I don't actually think the map is physically big enough for it to have 10 possible spawn locations. That seems a little iffy, but the other possibility is that you won't get a bunker at all on your map. And if that's the case, there's not a whole lot left for us to do in this game. We'll mostly be just standing around and waiting to die of hunger, like on the 50th day, you know what I mean? I don't think I'm going to have any problem. How many bullets do I have left right now? I could take a look. I think we've got tools, we've got wood matches, that's not what I wanted. Other rifle ammunition, so 2, and then that means we've got 10 in the chamber, since we've got 12 bullets. Every time you kill a deer, you get roughly like 2 to 3 days out of it worth of food, so I think that puts us right around 36 days from now if we wanted to go for a really long survival jaunt. Now, in looking up the locations where the bunker might be, I realized that this is a little bit of a compromise, but after we spent the last couple episodes walking around not really accomplishing anything, I felt like maybe we should have a couple episodes where there's not quite so much dead air. And so I've got a decent idea where the bunkers might be. I still don't know what they look like, and so that's still acting against me. That's still going to be to my detriment, unfortunately. But I do know where they might possibly be, and you'll forgive me, but my chair appears to have acted a fool. There we go. So I have a tripod that I put my microphone on, and unfortunately it was all wound up in the bottom of my chair wheels, and so I needed to get rid of that because every time I was swiveling my chair, I don't know if all of you, well, I don't think it's possible for all of you to notice this. I swivel in my chair, just kind of like a nervous habit. Not even necessarily like it's not really a nervous habit, I guess. It's just kind of a thing that I do. I swivel in my chair, and unfortunately, every time I was swizzling, I'm pretty sure, did I say swizzling? Swizzling sounds like you're doing some kind of drug like scissor. Like, hey man, we going to the club, we going swizzling tonight, man. I don't know, that's what it sounds like to me anyways, but hey, it is what it is. Every time I was swiveling in my chair, it would make like a wumpa 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 sound in the microphone, and so I'm trying to make sure that that stays out of the way. Now, the first bunker can be around here somewhere. I have no idea what I'm looking for, what it might look like, but the prepper cache, from what I understand, can be right here in this area, maybe more towards the cabin over here, but it's definitely up on this ridge somewhere if it spawns over here, and that would actually be really good for us. The positive aspects of its deployment in this space right here rather than any other space means that we have a short walk to go pick things up. It becomes very easy for us to get in between here and our base camp. Now, if we had set up somewhere else, like for example at the logging camp, it might be easier. What is that right there? Is that just a big rock with a bunch of, I think it's just a big rock with a bunch of refuse in it. Or on it. I guess it's not in it. I mean, it might be working down into the cracks, but let's not lend too much specificity to this diatribe because I really don't feel like it's going to be productive. Now, every time I stand on one of these ridges, I feel like I am going to get myself just absolutely ankly murdered, and I don't want to be ankly murdered. I don't want to be murdered at all, but I definitely don't want any part of me to be murdered without the rest of me following suit, especially in the survival situation, because that means we're going to be sitting around, huddled around, waiting to die for days and days at a time. So there will be no murdering of individual body parts. If you're going to take me out, Long Dark, you better take me out all the way from the top to the bottom. So there's a cabin over there. We've only got a little bit of time left right now. It's almost 3 o'clock, and so I don't want to get too far out in the boonies at the moment. There is the distinct possibility that we could get caught up overnight if we decide to engage in that sort of adventuring. And it's not going to work out to our benefit. It's going to suck if we get stuck out overnight. I've never made a snow shelter before, and in fact I had thought about possibly playing around with one outside in one of the future episodes, since it's one of the features that I haven't really touched yet. I've touched a lot of things in this game. It's been really, really awkward, unfortunately, for the game, but I keep touching new things, but there are a few areas where I haven't touched the game yet, and so unfortunately the game is just going to have to suffer my advances a little bit further. I will poke, I will prod until we have seen every single mechanic. I don't see a bunker anywhere. Granted, I don't know what the bunker looks like, but I don't see it anywhere. And so there are a couple other areas that I have noted where it might be, but we've done a pretty good job at combing those locations, actually. I don't know. I've been looking at the map not like intently, I suppose, but I have been looking at the map just sort of getting a feel for where things are, and basically I had already filled out the map on my own. Like, I pretty much understand where things are at this point. Actually, I think I was way off track for where the bunker can be. Hold on, let's go back this way until we find the abandoned cabin. So there's the abandoned cabin. And so by my understanding, it can either be up in this little ridgy area or up in this little ridgy area. Now, we just hit that over there, so I don't think that ridgy ridge is going to have us covered. It's like Richie Rich, except ridgy ridge means that you have a lot of rocks. It's basically like being a whole lot more poor than Richie Rich. You're just very rich in rocks. And so some people are into that. I mean, I have a friend who's rich in rocks. I have a friend who's actually, he trades rocks. That's what he does for a living. He got out of college with his geology degree. And now what he does is he goes to rock and mineral shows, and he buys low and he sells high. He makes like 70 grand a year doing it too. I was like, damn, son, do work. Get paid. I was surprised. I was really, he showed up to, I guess, he came to visit the school after he graduated. He was driving like a Mercedes, and I was like, what? What happened to you, man? Because if you know this guy, like in college, he was really slovenly and just like not well put together, and just, you know, he was just kind of like that college bum guy who's just like around, you know, and also he was kind of socially awkward, you know what I mean? And so he was just one of those guys that, like, he didn't dress well, he didn't like keep himself looking good, he didn't keep himself shaven or anything. I'm not blaming him for any of that. I'm just saying that's the kind of guy he was. So when he showed up looking fit and trim in like business suits and a Mercedes and shit, it was very surprising. It was a juxtaposition from, you know, what I expected, having known him for several years, to like he's gone through like this weird metamorphosis, and you're like, cool, man, I'm glad that life has worked out for you. Absolutely glad that you've gotten your affairs in order. Good for you, man. Can't say that I have, but you know, people are like, so what are you doing right now? And I'm like, still playing video games on the internet. I feel like I have a friend who's like an amateur rapper, and he said he feels the exact same way when he tells people what he does for a living. He's like, well, I'm a rapper, but like I'm not famous, so I don't make much money, but you know, I do what I love. And then people are like, so are you going to go to college and get like an MBA or anything? It's weird how people put expectations on you. Have you ever thought about that? Like the weird way that people expect you just to like do better, even though like it's not their life, it's yours. I always think that that's kind of an odd, I don't know. I don't get if it's people. It's kind of a weird conversation for the Nerd Castle because I try to keep things light, but it's always a little bit strange to me that some people seem to like impose what they want on you, even though it's technically what they want from themselves. Like, so they'll be like, so are you going to go back to college and like do anything? Or, and implied in that sentence already is like that you're not doing anything, you know what I mean? And so already you get like kind of defensive, you're like, why don't you mind your own damn business? Oh God. Being an adult is awful, kids. Like, forestall as long as you can being an adult, because like the older you get, you start to realize that like nothing really changes. When you're 15, people who are like 25 and older treat you like you're a kid, but when you're 25, people who are like 40 and older treat you like you're a kid. And when you're 35, people who are like 50 and older treat you like you're a kid. It just never ends. And then like the popularity contests, those never end either. Like every job I've ever had, I think all the positions there were dictated by popularity, not necessarily like aptitude. It's just like who played the social game the best, you know what I mean? And so it's like, oh my God, it all never ends. It's just a giant, like, it's true. Like, high school just never ends. It's all the same thing forever. It's like, oh my God. I thought it was over. So kids, just be a kid as long as you humanly can. Just have fun in life. It's nice that we live in a world, though, where you can have fun for a living and people don't get mad at you. I always think that that's kind of nice, because if it was like the 50s, you're expected to go, like, work at a factory or hammer rocks with your forehead or like be a coal miner or something. Otherwise everybody thought you were a bum. Although you were allowed to be an alcoholic in the 50s and nobody would call you out on it. So Bonuses. I mean, you know, alcoholism wasn't really a thing back then, so you could get away with being drunk all the time, and nobody really seemed to blame you. People would like, oh my god, I've sprained my ankle again. Yeah, because you don't know how to walk properly, you idiot. Like, are you for real right now? I'm not healing that. You do whatever you want to do. Fine, I'll give you painkillers, but only because I feel sorry for you. How does that make you feel right now? We're running out of painkillers, so I think he should really lay off on that. I wasn't even sprinting right there. Just walking down a hill. Usually I get sprained when I'm running, but nope. Alright, so that cabin over there. We'll walk back this way. I think we've accomplished about enough for this in-game day. I'm not talking about the episode right now, but we spent about 11 minutes walking around talking about nothing. And so that's usually a pretty good indicator to me that we should get back on topic and maybe make our way back to base. I don't think we're going to have... It's 4 o'clock, so what we're going to have time for right now is let's go scavenge some wood. We'll see what we can pull down from the lofty arboreal heavens. And if we can get ourselves enough wood, giggity, we'll be able to keep ourselves warm when we go back inside. Stockpiling wood is probably going to be a decent idea because our clothes are going to degrade over time. Eventually, we're not going to have the materials to repair them. As of right now, we have so many materials that I'm not really caring about it. And in fact, I'm willing to bet we'll probably die of starvation long before we die of freezing to death, especially since we've got a pretty good base camp going, so not something that I'm really panicking about at this point. We've had a really good playthrough. In all honesty, there hasn't been a whole lot of things during this playthrough that have challenged us. I mean, I think the core tenet of this game is metagame knowledge. Once you understand like how all the systems work and you understand precisely how fatal a lot of the situations are, you're more than able to sort of work around all of those mechanics and then just ignore them entirely. Basically, it also comes down to whether you get a gun, too. And I know I've said basically a lot, and I don't want to stick too far around basic, because basic was how I spent the first couple years of college. I was a computer science major, and so I started out with Visual Basic, and then I transferred schools, and at the new school, nobody used Visual Basic. Everybody used C++. And so I went from C# to C++. After C++, everybody wanted me to learn, like, Python. I don't know, like pomegranate or some other shit. I don't really know. I don't remember. It's been like 5 years now. I don't remember anything that I used to do in college. Half of those days, it's very, very strange how you can live so many days and not remember like any of them. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. That's just the way that my brain functions. I don't remember things because I don't care and I don't like log useless information anymore. I brain dump. I bet that I brain dump probably like 1,000% more than most people. I brain dump so fast that it's almost... Well, I brain dump so fast that it's almost mind-boggling, or I don't know, like mind sphinctering, or I'm not really sure. I was gonna say brain dump, and then I was gonna try and make a mental poop joke, but unfortunately, did I destroy my hatchet on accident? Where did my hatchet go? I feel like I may have accidentally destroyed my hatchet, because I still hate that fact that it auto-equips your hatchet whenever you go search for wood. Like, I really actually dislike that. You were unable to forage any usable wood. Unfortunate. Let's try again. We've got time. More than enough time, actually. Still unable to forage any usable wood. Okay. Hunger and thirst are looking a little bad. It sounds like a storm's about to roll in. Unfortunately, it was deafening me through my headphones. I actually flinched when it started. I was like, oh god, I'm deaf! Why? I thought we were friends, video game. I thought we were friends. The other possibility is I vaguely remember throwing my axe on the floor in here, like on the carpet or something like that, but I thought I picked it back up. And so I may have accidentally destroyed my axe. It doesn't really matter because we still have a knife. So it's sort of, like one thing for another. I mean, I wasn't going to waste any of the materials required in order to make the axe better anyways. Is it in here? Oh, it totally isn't. That means I destroyed my axe on accident. On accident, God, I didn't even mean to say that. Unless I stowed it up here somewhere. Wait, where the hell? If I broke it, it should still be in my inventory at 0% though, because things that are broken, they stay at 0% and they just hang out in your inventory. So where did that axe go? Did I dump it over here? What did I do with it? How incredibly odd. I would swear that I had that axe. I don't know. Somebody will probably point out where I accidentally destroyed it. And I should really stop making axe-related humor here. But anyways, somebody will probably point it out in the comments where I lost my axe because it's not in my toolkit anymore. I don't recall ever dropping it aside from down on the carpet downstairs, and I don't see it laying there anymore. I
think I need to lay down.
I don't see that anywhere, but instead of... For a second, I thought that said bondage. I was like, why am I carrying around bondage? That seems like just we're by ourselves. Like, how does this benefit us? It would seem to me that you would need some form of partner in order to make this work. Like, listen, we're getting bored. I've stuffed one of the deer. I've put it over there with like a weird little handle mechanical thing. It's going to do the whipping and all the strangling and whatever else. Let's go ahead and drink the water. There we go. And eat up some venison for right now. We'll hope that we don't get food poisoning, because this would be like the critical junction at which, if we got food poisoning, it would affect us the most. And so I would prefer to avoid that. Basically, you just don't want to get food poisoning right before you go out on your next hunt. And so I don't actually see the accident. Let's go down and I'll check one more time, and we'll just try and make sure that it's not underneath a carpet or anything. But I think the axe may be gone. Very, very strange, because I don't remember... It's very odd. I don't remember putting it down. I put it down over here, but I picked it back up and I went out. And from there, I don't remember getting rid of it anywhere. So the only thing I can think is maybe that it despawned as a result of... it breaking, but even that seems a little bit uncredible. Most of the items that I've broken in the past stay at 0% in your inventory in case you want to repair them or something. So I don't know what's happened. It's definitely gone though, so I guess we'll scavenge around for wood for another hour, and then we'll go back inside. Hopefully we get something right now. If we don't get anything, there we go, a couple of reclaimed wood. I think we got about an hour left. We'll give it another go. I don't think it gets dark till 10 o'clock. I could be wrong, though. It might be around 9 or 9:30. We'll know if it's pitch black out here. Okay, we're still good. We are still good. You were unable to forge any usable wood. Maybe that's why I was so successful in the previous episode at farming wood. Maybe I accidentally used my axe a couple times. I know that I spammed, like... I know for a fact that I spammed 1 hour over there. And so maybe that's what went wrong. Either way, you don't really need the axe for anything. It's... Do I have... I don't have... I have flares on me. I have matches. I'll probably just use a match to find my way. There you just stay next to a wall. That's the best way to navigate when you're using a match in this game, is if you stay next to a surface, because the light radius on it is really piss poor. So, yeah, definitely don't have an axe laying in our tool pile. I mean, I haven't gone back through... Matches! Stop that. I could use some of this reclaimed wood real fast. And I think that I will. And I'm going to cook up the remainder of that meat just to make sure that it's ready to go. So we'll click on that. We'll throw the extra reclaimed wood in there, and then we'll cook these 2 raw venisons. Maybe we'll get a little bit more water out of the situation, although I sincerely doubt it. We're a little bit low on time right now, and I just don't think it's going to pan out for us. And I'm not trying to be punny, considering we're sizzling meat on a pan right now, but, you know, when the puns happen, the puns happen. I'm not going to apologize. Let's try. We might be able to get a half liter done. No, we're not getting a half liter done. We'll just get unsafe water. Let me pick up the safe water supply here, and each one of those should be 1 liter, as I understand it. Our thirst is looking pretty bad, so let's go ahead and eat before we go to bed, and then we're also going to drink before we go to bed, just in case we get food poisoning. We'll drink the 1 liter of water. That should put it down to maybe like 45-ish possibly. And then let me see if I can find the bed here in the pitch black. Alright, so now that we're set up, it's actually a little early for us to go to bed, but I guess we can start an early day off tomorrow. Let's go ahead and rest for the 7 hours. We'll see what happens. It looks like it's getting colder inside. There's definitely a storm going on outside. The storm is a brewing, and I ain't talking about no bears. Alright, so it's 6 a.m. Thirst is looking decent. We'll drink the rest of the potable water. There we go. That puts us down to acceptable parameters on that end. Let me grab a couple more liters for the road. So that'll give us 3 liters. I'm going to drop the unpotable right now. And water purification tablets. We're okay right there. We've got enough venison to last us. What are our calories looking like? Okay, we're not within the threshold right now to where I want to eat. It would be sort of a waste. It sounds bad outside. It sounds really bad outside. Actually, we're still fatigued, so I don't see any reason why we shouldn't just rest for another couple hours. Go for another 3-hour nap. I've been sleeping like crazy lately. I don't know what it is, whether I'm just feeling like a little bit of just... I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like you're feeling a little bit down, or I don't know if you're actually just tired, because I do work out a lot every day, but I usually spend 2 to 3 hours working out every day, and I work in between that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm just feeling a little bit down lately, or I'm just more tired than usual, or maybe my body's fighting off like some kind of early stage infection or something, but I don't know. Lately I've been sleeping a lot. It's the weirdest thing. Like, I'm not typically a heavy sleeper. Usually I only sleep maybe 5-6 hours a night. That's just how I am. I always draw upon Leonardo da Vinci as my inspiration. They used to say that Leonardo da Vinci only slept he slept for 15 minutes every like 2 hours or something like that, and that's how he got so much work done. Wow, it is. Oh, it's -9. That's not too terrible. Never mind. I thought the wind chill's bad, but it's not too awful. Let's go ahead and drink some water. It is cold out, so I don't see any problem going out and foraging for wood. Let's go ahead and see if we can lock down. I mean, we could go hunting right now. Our food supply is on the shorter side. I prefer to have a good supply of wood, though, first before I do any hunting trips. So let's go ahead and we'll get wood for right now. We'll get wood for right now. Never let it be said that I don't make myself comfortable in the outdoors. Let's go for 2 hours. I think that should be enough with the way that we're going to freeze to death in order to get a little bit of work done. And if this fails, I'm going to weep and cry and moan. Okay, so we got 2 for firewood, but we are freezing to death. So there's a downside to the whole situation. It looks like it's going to actually be a really, really freezy day for the remainder. Although we haven't gotten into the middle of the day yet. It may actually... As I say that, thank you, video game.
So cold in my life.
Thank you, video game, for making me feel foolish. Right after I make my proclamations of imminent death and imminent freezing and toe loss, you decide to prove me wrong. Alright, that's fine. Prove me wrong. I don't care. See what happens. See what happens, video game. See if I keep playing you. Keep proving me wrong like this in front of my audience, and maybe I'll abandon you. Abandon you. No, I could never abandon this game. It's too much fun. That's my main issue, is that the game, I enjoy it too much. This is like one of those games that I could see myself playing it over the long term, like taking small breaks, but always coming back and doing like another 20-episode series here and there as they develop it. We got enough fur firewood right now to where I don't feel too guilty. Let's go ahead and rest for an hour. That'll help us get our fatigue down a little bit. Just a nice little nap in the middle of the day. I can't nap. If I nap, I don't sleep at night. As I was referencing earlier, whenever I don't sleep much to begin with, but whenever I nap, it just gets that much worse. So let's go ahead and we'll feed up right now. There we go. Feed up. Make sure you don't put them on the table, though. And so now that we've fed, where does that leave us? It still sounds like the wind is whipping out here. Yeah, we just can't get a break from this weather. I don't know. Just can't get a break. Got the rifle right now. We could go bag ourselves a deer. We do have enough wood to make it work. So while that's the case, maybe that's the last thing we'll do for the episode. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get ourselves a deer. And if we can get ourselves a deer, that basically sets us up for future survival fairly well. I always hate these parts of the games, though, where I've got to take a shot at these deer because the gun behaves erratically. I don't know what else to say about it. The gun just does not appear to like to do what I want it to do most of the time. And it's just like, nope, nope, nope. Alright, I'm going to walk up on this deer softly. Hopefully it doesn't run away. I'm going to walk softly and carry a big gun. Sorry, Teddy Roosevelt, but big sticks are not enough to kill off a deer of this magnitude. And believe me, this deer has magnitude. It is so large that it has become a physical force. It has taken place. It is a large brown furry vector. I hear something behind me. I don't know how much closer I'm going to be able to get before this thing takes off. Hopefully a little bit closer, though. No, the barrel's dropping. Arrgh! Hold the barrel up. Come on, strong wrist, son. Did I get him? All right. Sometimes, like that shot right there, I have missed that exact same shot a couple times where it just shoots really, really low for some reason, or shoots really, really high for some reason, even though the iron sight is dead center. I don't know. Sometimes the gun's weird in this game, and it always makes me nervous before I go out for a hunt that I'm going to waste my bullet, because there's a direct correlation in this game between like how many bullets you have left and how long you're going to survive. I don't know if a lot of people have realized that, but the quickest way to tell if you're going to make it is to look at your bullet supply. I mean, you can guarantee. Let's see how much venison we got right here. So we got 8 kilograms in a 6 kilograms, so we probably got about like 12-ish to 13-ish venison right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so we got 13 venison, like I said. And so 13 venison is enough. That's 13,000 calories. If you're not scavenging for wood, that should be enough. Just sitting in your room doing nothing else, that should be enough to easily get you through 4 or 5 days. And so for each bullet, you could figure you survive 5 days. Maybe 6 if you really stretch it out, but if you're actually scavenging and things, I would say you get about 3 days out of one deer. And your bullets, that's the best way to look. You look at how many bullets you have left. We have 11 bullets right now. That's conceivably at least 33 more days that we could survive. At least, I would say. But the math, it's not like hard physics math. It's sort of just back of the box math. It's, you know, back of the envelope math, as we like to call it in geology. I'm going to head back inside. I think we've just about accomplished the things that I wanted to accomplish for the day. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Long Dark. In the next episode, we're going to scavenge up a whole bunch of wood. We're going to try and get our wood supply like really, really rocking. If we can get ourselves a big old pile of wood that just never stops, I'll be pretty happy. And then from there, we'll go back out and I'll check some of the other alternate locations where the bunker might be. And if we don't end up finding it, it's... like I said, it's always a possibility that we may not have a bunker on this map. I'll see y'all in the next episode. Hi-do, everybody.